This video is sponsored by War Thunder, more on that a bit later. Rocks. We did the space rocks and honestly they were a little disappointing. I hyped them up a little bit compared to the more down-to-earth beast spells, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe the beast spells are better. I doubt it, but I've been wrong before. To watch me get things wrong live, follow me on Twitch. We're finding new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join the Patreon if you want to support the channel, or watch some exclusive episodes about more niche topics. Full episodes, just pretty specific. And make sure you like and subscribe to feed the beast that is the algorithm. You might not think subscribing matters, but it shows YouTube you cared about this video, so it really helps us out. Feed that beast. And speaking of, wow, 2 My Hero Academia references in a row? What, was this supposed to be one video that got split into 2 because oh my god, spells are terrible, and trying to get 2 runs in and write a script would have been brutal?
Yes.
Oh well, Cowabunga, Limgrave get the crafting kit and a horse. It's kind of a beast spell in that it's a beast of burden. We'll ride that over to the death-touched catacombs, which is a nice and simple catacomb. Pull the lever, fight a boss. Even simpler actually, the boss is already dead. You just have to clean up the Black Knife assassin that beat that boss. We are literally level 1. Started off as a wretch. How did it end up like this? I was only a wretch. I was only a wretch. But we just used the club and some jumping attacks, and we're hitting her good, and we're hitting her fast. We can't really start with the B spells, but after a few early bosses, we'll get going. I think it will go well trying to stay on the bright side, you know? Tibia Mariner next, and it's even easier than the Black Knife assassin is. Really hoping this isn't the peak of the build, but I like the club. When we were doing the starting gear only runs, everyone was like, oh, Wretch is gonna be really bad. No, club hits. That would have been a good one. The starting gear videos just didn't really do well, so we kind of pulled the plug on those. Okay, that's the last boss we're fighting without the beast spells, since now we have enough death spaghetti for Garank. Scoop up the physic tier on the way, then warp through to the Dragon Barrow. I think they intended for you to go here late game, but then realized, oh yeah, the beast spells are here? Huh. Put a portal in, I guess. Gary gives us the Beast Seal, which is not the best seal, and our first spell, Beast Sling. Then we get to fight Gravity, falling down a church for the Cincadia, a knife that'll give us a 10% boost to our beast spells, stacking with the other 10% from our seal. Why does the Gravity Staff give a 30% boost and the Beast Seal only gives a 10% boost, but also has a knife that boosts the damage?
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Weird other thing, because the Beast Seal scales with strength, if you two-hand it, you get a boost to your damage, like if you were two-handing a weapon. Pretty cool. But hey, let's talk. More rock, right? So let's head into the High Road Cave and fight a boss. High Road Cave, we're doing a lot of similar steps to the Gravity Run. So similar that when we fight the Golem, we run out of blue juice as we get our rocks off on his toes. Well, we tried to get our rocks off, but didn't have enough juice to finish. But hey, you don't have to finish to enjoy yourself as long as everyone respects each other and had fun. You do need to finish if you want the reward, so we'll get some blue, get deep in the hole again, and throw our rocks. Comparing it to Rock Sling, it definitely doesn't have the range or the damage, but it has so much more speed and costs so much less. It's so fast, it feels almost like I'm using a weapon. And you know what?
I like it. Are you kidding? What's not to like?
I swear to God, if I hate Rock Sling but end up liking Beast Sling, I'm gonna lose my mind. Just like Gravity spells, Beast spells are mostly physical damage, actually all physical damage this time, so getting naked with the Blue Dancer will crank that damage by about 18%. Let's clear our head in the Weeping Peninsula, get some Sacred Tears, and a Faith Tier, since there's technically equal scaling between Faith and Strength, even though you can't two-hand it with the Faith. Well, you can, but that's no different than if you're one-handing it, which is nice, because one-handing it is very healthy, and a religious pressure not to enjoy yourself while one-handing it can cause a lot of problems. Learning a time, get the key, warp, and head into the Raya Lucaria Crystal Cave. A stone miner joined us on the elevator, so by the time we get to the Crystallion, we're pretty low on healing flasks. However, it's a Crystallion. We're fine. This is where we'll point out the very low stance damage of Beast Sling. Some people got a little mad that I said Rock Sling had bad stance damage, and I want to say I'm sorry. I'm really, truly sorry if you think Rock Sling has good stance pressure. Each rock has the stance pressure of a light attack from a greatsword, and they're so slow, and their accuracy is variable if I'm being generous. The only reason you'd think they have good stance damage is if you've only used spells. So sweetie, pick up a claymore and you're gonna love it. lot. Unlike Rock Sling though, Beast Sling is quick enough that you can just move away when enemies attack you instead of standing still. I kinda like this. For Pharaoh's time, since we already opened up the path to the Dragon Barrel, we'll grab the stuff we need and warp out. Then imagine going beast mode in Fort Height so we can ride up to Altus. We'll grab the Erd Tree Seal from this church. It's weightless and scales purely with faith.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
Yep, this is definitely the Erd Tree Seal. Speaking of, let's go to the sealed tunnel, grab the bell bearing, and warp out. We're leveling up the Beast Seal first, cranking strength, and then when we have enough levels, we'll respec with Renala because the Erd Tree Seal has so much better scaling. Despite the 10% boost from the Beast Seal, its inherent scaling is dog water, which makes sense. Dogs are beasts. It should be dog water. Going right for the Abandoned Cave now, Syncadea also gives us a quick step for the Rot Swamp. Not the biggest deal, but it means we don't have to put on armor between attempts against the Clean Rots, which will take a few attempts. The gank is a bit troublesome at this level. After one death though, it just goes better. The damage per cast is definitely worse than Rock Sling at this point, but the added speed makes it feel so much more usable. Margit ends up being a really fun fight. The short range of the Beast Sling isn't ideal, but it encourages you to get in close instead of just backing up and running away until you can safely hit R1. Beast Sling is also unique among the beast spells since you actually get more damage when more rocks hit. Beast Claw, which we'll unlock later, will always deal the same amount of damage no matter how many of the shockwaves hit. But if you're closer, Beast Sling does more damage. It's a shotgun and feels much like using a weapon with a little twist. It can technically hit with better range than a whip. It comes out as fast as a straight sword and will do better damage if you're in close. It feels really good to use.
You amaze me every time. I can't believe just how inconsistent you are!
Papa Tulok plays favorites. Sorry, Gravity enjoyers, I just think Gravity sucks. The Knight's Cavalry dies to falling. Gravity didn't kill it. The ground at the bottom of the cliff did. Come back for Stream 2, Nerd Juice has some knives, which can be dangerous when you're naked. Ever seen a Friday the 13th movie? That's why Jason always goes after the people who made Whoopi. They're naked. But we do fine. Bestial Sling is very good against NPCs. Patches also goes better since our sling comes out faster than Patches can lift his shield. Very cool. Now we can make pickles. Gostok gets Gost rocked and we can boogie up the danger path. Godric should be easy. It's not like he has a tornado that deflects our only method of attacking. Oh no, he does have that. Still fine. I just didn't realize it was happening, so even more fine, because I didn't realize it was happening, and we still won. Very cool. Godric's Great Rune is activated, and we're so much better off with +5 to every stat. Let's go get some more spaghetti for our hungry dog. Another Tibia Mariner in Lernia. It's fun, except not really. Fighting the same boss 3 times, especially when it's a boring-ass boss, is not my idea of a picnic. Neither is the Black Knife Catacombs. This is one of the worst catacombs in the game. They really over-ganked the hell out of this place. Bunch of skeletons, guillotines, and necromancers. Leave my neck alone. It just got out of a long-term relationship with another neck and isn't ready for something serious. Even the boss fight, the Cemetery Shade, is a gank. They add more bonies here. Too many bonies. Jeepers. That's 2 more pieces of death spaghetti, but it's been so long since we fought a Tibia Mariner. It has only been 5 minutes since we fought a Tibia Mariner. This one has a big Sans skeleton. That's kind of different. Would be cool if we could summon a big Sans skeleton as a death sorcery, but I get it, it's kind of big. Oh, also we killed Gilka? Kind of forgot about that. Garank gets too hungry for his death spaghetti and attacks us. Oh no! This is the Beast Clergyman. That's a late game boss, and it's scaled the same as the Beast Clergyman fight when you fight Malekith. I'm gonna be fine. That's fine. This isn't that bad. Okay, yeah, now we get the Beast Claw and Bestial Vitality, and the Roar Ash of War, which I don't have to talk about because it's not a spell. But as we run up Gelmnir Mountain, I would love to talk about Beast Vitality. Spell sucks. Heals 5 HP per second over 2 minutes for 600 total health. That's less than a +5 Physic Flask, and it takes 2 whole minutes.
5 minutes? You want 5 fucking minutes, eh? You know what? I've got 5 fucking minutes!
The claw will have uses. Tell you about that later. Right now, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, War Thunder. What if you wanted to do some damage in an intense PvP arena? Well, you should check out today's sponsor, War Thunder. It's a free-to-play vehicle combat game for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. That's right, it's free, so there's no reason you shouldn't give it a shot. They have so many vehicles in this game. Seriously, think of the most excessive number of vehicles you could put in a game. What are you thinking, 100? 200? Try over 2,000 1,000 different planes, tanks, ships, and helicopters, ranging from the past 100 years of history. If you want to keep it present day, that's cool, but you can also go back as far as the 1920s. Even that isn't fully pitching the variety this game offers, with different camouflages, historical markers, bushes, and equipment you can attach to your vehicles. Personally, I love how great these vehicles look in 4K resolution. It really helps you get immersed into the action. Again, it's free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, and you should use the link in the description. Doing that gets you a large bonus pack if you're new or haven't played the game in 6 months. That's premium vehicles, a premium account, an exclusive 3D decorator for your vehicles, and much more, but only for a limited time. Check out the link in the description and start playing today. Gelmir Hero's Grave is not great. Much like the Black Knife Catacombs, the designers forgot you're supposed to be able to just run past every enemy. They put a flamethrower in here, so you have to play red light, green light, while a page is trying to turn you into shish kebab. I could fight them, I guess. But what if there was a different way? A new direction we could take. Do you want to see my new direction? Turns out you can just fall down the first hole and land on a tiny little beam to skip the section of this dungeon with the pages. You also have to fall down a very specific way, and it makes sense that gravity would be mad at me.
I heard that you were talking shit and you didn't think that I would hear it.
By the time we get down, we just have to scoot through the magma. Syncadia, here we go again. Still take a little magma damage, not as much. Enough that we have to fight the Red Wolf without many flasks. Doesn't work out great, but that's also because I thought this was a Beast Claw scenario, and it's not. Use the sling. Since only one beam of the claw can hit a boss, it doesn't matter how big they are. And for a boss this fast with this low of HP, you really just want fast rocks. That's the last death spaghetti we can get for now, but it's gonna get us a great new spell. Using the other beast spells is bold, but using this next one is more bold.
It's amazing what you've done with such a modest budget. I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Let's show it off against our favorite Dragon Barrow farms. The boulder is great at hitting Grail's head, until we ran out of blue juice. Yeah, it's a little more expensive than the sling, and we still have 10 mined. Whoopsie. Try again. Worth noting, you can grab the stones from the ground even if you're on the back of your horse. Google bareback riding Garank and grabbing his stones on your work computer to find out more. Putrid Avatar next. Really easy as long as I don't get greedy right at the end. Like right at the end, like just at the very end. I'm sure that's the only time this will happen this run. Beast Claw is great for farming birds by the impassable Great Bridge. That's not actually the case for it, but I appreciate it. Considering how often we have to farm these birds, it's nice when we have a useful tool. Radon is sort of the king of gravity spells in this game, so let's just stand back and let our pals take aggro while we throw stuff. I don't know why we're not using Spirit Ashes for these runs. Obviously, I'm fine with Spirit Ashes. I think we just didn't in the Knight's Comet run because that was so strong. So now it feels like the rest of the videos shouldn't get a Spirit Ash because Night Comet didn't, if we're going to properly assess them. Maybe the real lesson of Cast or Pass is that if you want to cast, you also need an Ash, which would make sense, right? Spirit Ashes solve the biggest problem with casting, finding a window to actually land your spell, and use a resource you've probably invested in as a caster, your FP. But no, Spirit Ash are for baby, and caster are real gamer. I will say, someone was curious why I don't use weapons in these runs. It's unfair to spells, and the gameplay would be better if I could use a weapon. Which, yeah, I agree. This would be better if I could use a weapon. I would just use a weapon the whole time. That's why we don't use weapons for the runs that are about using only spells.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
To learn how to read, let's go to school. There's another dog and it goes better with a big rock. Big rock is better than smaller rocks. Not really, it just has situations it does better in. Fextra Life says it does substantially more stance damage than other spells, and okay, come on. I guess that's technically true. It does an amount of stance damage, but it's like 10 per rock or something. Renala time. We can one cycle phase 1, then in phase 2, our rock shotgun clears all the wolves that are chasing us in one throw. And we get to just keep doming her. It might seem OP for this fight, but remember, Night Maiden's Mist could finish phase 1 in 2 cycles, and only takes 5 minutes to vape Renala to death in phase 2. That's the real OP spell. If you ever need to see the wildest takes about Elden Ring, post a video on YouTube and you'll get a steady stream of people who replaced every food in their fridge with rubber cement. They're full of shit because it is not coming out. Rocks should do great underground. There's a lot of rocks there. It's like it's their home. So we'll try to get our rocks off in Radahn's hole, then go to the Mimic tier and use Rock Sling, which is apparently great for NPCs, as long as they don't do their magical roll technique. Here's where the claw is actually helpful. It's wide enough and the hitboxes stay out long enough that it's great for enemies who are dodging a lot. I did not know that yet and wanted to believe everyone who said Beast Sling was good for NPCs. This is basically Elden Ring Mythbusters, and busting makes me feel good. Don't Beast Sling your NPCs, claw them. Let's light our torches and fight a moose with rocks. Great place to show off that while the damage is nice, the stance pressure is doggy doo. If you want spells to do great stance pressure, too bad? Flame of Frenzy is actually pretty good. Otherwise, get a weapon. And I guess I have to remind everyone, I am enjoying the beast spells thus far. This isn't hating on spells, they just don't have stance pressure like weapons do, and you need to realize that because you're all just lying to yourselves. Time to carry a manor. At least we have a strength build, and that should help us carry it. Loretta is a bit faster than most of the other bosses we've dealt with so far. Not a huge problem. We did this right after the Rock Sling Slog. Have I mentioned I didn't like Rock Sling? Good news. This video I'm not complaining about beast spells. Bad news, I'm not done complaining about Rock Sling. Talk to Ronnie for the optional quest that is mandatory. Get the knife, trade it for the statue, and into the Incel River main. This little silver tier is blocking us again just because we didn't say hi to Phalanx Demon's Holes. It's not even a joke. I think the tiers keep moving forward as we'd be in there going for the bell-bearing chest, and this one wouldn't be blocking the path. Kind of funny. Lake of Rot. Boy, it would be great if there was a beast spell with a regen ability. Oh well. Astel Time, he's a bug psychic type for these rock type moves, should be super effective. And they are. Would you look at that? Which gets us into the reason these boulders really shine. You don't need much faith investment, and because of the beast seal, you can just use your strength to make these decent. There is a reason to use these. If you're an Unga Bunga build and want something with a bit of distance to hit, beast spells are a great option. I'm shocked I liked them more than gravity spells, but they have a clear purpose. Now we'll head back to Boggart's Love Shack and rock the Lobster Man with the force of a B-52 bomber. Private Idaho. Raya will now bring us to Volcano Manor and we'll head right for the chunky. Big rocks on Big Boy. Big win. Not much to report there. Stone of Gronk is pretty good. That unlocks the path to the Somber Stone 7, so when we inevitably trade the Beast Sling for the Erd Tree Seal that we definitely have, we'll be ready. Gargoyles are just kind of a bad, unfun boss in general. First time, no luck. Whiffed. Smacked. Not enjoyable. Second time, good luck. Hits landed. Smacked them and still not enjoyable. But it's a little bit faster if you're doing all Membies since you have to go to Deeproot anyway. Good news, this time we can pop the ants faster than they attack us. Bare minimum bar cleared. NPCs in general are going to be pretty terrible with spells that aren't specifically Night Comet, but the Claw is slightly better. Not all that much better, at least not when there are 3 NPCs chasing you, but a little better. Got pretty close the second time too, but we've never been punished once, except for the first time where we died. Time to go to the city. It's the royal capital, and the Erdtree avatar goes fine. We can dome the Grave Warden duelists one after another. The only thing more fun than giving a buff boy dome is giving a second buff boy dome right after. Dudes rock. Speaking of dudes that rock, Godfrey Shade is a dude with rock. And our dudes rocks rock this dude more than his rocks rock this rock dude. How many rocks could a dude rock if a dude rock could rock dudes? Morgott is a bit faster, and I haven't invested in my decks yet because even though we haven't invested in decks, we're still faster than Rocksling. But then we died because we should probably have some decks in the city. But just like that, we beat Morgott. For Biden lands, you know what would really rock? Having more than 2 viable political parties. I just don't like that my options are setting my house on fire or setting my house on fire and then pouring gasoline on it. Why are you so mad at me because I set your house on fire? I'm not pouring gas on it like that guy. This is a joke. Obviously, I will never own a house. Mountaintops of the Giants time, or you know what? Let's get a somber 9 and 8 from the Dragon Barrel. Then realize we did not have the Erd Tree Seal, so we have to go get it from the Volcano Manor town. Level it up to +9, then talk to the Moon Mommy to get more faith. It's missing the 10% boost from the Beast Seal, but the scaling is infinitely better. That makes up for it. And we get a slight extra bonus from the Blue Dancer charm because it's weightless. Not 10%, like maybe 1%, but we're still gonna be cooking a lot hotter. It's been a minute since we fought a Tibia Mariner, and this one doesn't count as a boss for some reason, even though this one has the most sand skeletons and the biggest range, and snails. The snails aren't a problem though. It drops some death spaghetti. We also get Health and Steeple. It's a great sword that applies frostbite, does extra magic damage. God, I miss weapons. When we trade in the death spaghetti, we get another weapon. Castle's Whole Time and Commander Nile. We're gonna give these 3 soldiers dome at the same time. I could handle Nile and his 2 lieutenants at the same time, in a fight, of course. We finish the 2 Ecto boys, and then it's just Nile. He has some impressive length, but that doesn't stop us from doming him. I'll be real, the last beast spell we can get is a pass, so I'm in no hurry to grab it. I'm also in no hurry to fight Ignoralis, so we'll just hurry past them and fight the Fire Giant instead. Might seem like we're doing a great job getting our rocks off on his toes, we just don't have enough juice. Still haven't invested in mind, kind of a bummer. Come back with more blue juice. Fire Giant is super slow. The only danger is underestimating exactly how slow he is and dodging too early. Easy win. Vermazula will fight the duo and back up while throwing things. I'm glad we summoned Bernie in the Night Comet run. Now we just have to summon him in every other run, otherwise the metrics would be different. I care a lot about the metrics. It's actually not sarcasm, I care a weird amount about the metrics. Let's grab the other Dectus piece, then we'll go to the snowfield. By waiting to do this until we killed the Fire Giant, we get to avoid the Ensha fight, and I guess that's important to me. Down to the snowfield, we'll fight the Mimic Tier for the Death Root so we can trade for Garink's Beast Claw. Okay, so let's talk about that while we run through the snowfield. It's the same spell as Beast Claw, but it surrounds you instead of going in front of you, which is worse. This would be great against bosses like Deacons of the Deep, Prowling Magus and the Congregation, or the Royal Rat Vanguard. Those aren't bosses in Elden Ring. They made a spell for 3 of the easiest bosses from past Souls games.
You're late.
Didn't realize the Beast Claw was a proper move for NPCs, so we're floundering a bit against Dynastia, trying to get the boulders to hit, still win, and anti-airs with a huge boulder is pretty funny. Into Mogwin, we run into a problem against the Lord of Blood. He can move slightly to the left.
Where do they go?
There they are. They're listing lazily to the left. Go left, left.
Boy, this guy knows some maneuvers.
Alas, I have to say that the Stone of Garank doesn't track as well from a distance. It flies faster, which helps in most cases, but this one is bad. Could have gone to get the Eleanor tier, but that takes time, so I'll just bash my head into this rock until my rock breaks through the wall with my head that is a rock. We eventually get it together and get the win for a big bunch of runes. Back to the main story, we'll swag jump, use some rocks on the bird run. It works great because literally any projectile does. It actually works better than Gravity Well, despite Gravity Well being specifically made for these bird enemies. Neat. Draconic Flea Sentinel goes really smoothly. Coming from the Grace under the bridge, we can't stop hitting the Sentinel on the other side of the bridge. He wants to give us some scar tissue, but we don't give it away. By the way, this is a first try win. Gravity loses again. Oh, and it's gonna lose again as we go fight our Beastie Boy teacher. It's super easy. Just use our spells that are fast to hit him in the face over and over again, get to phase 2, and repeat. I wish fighting Garank was a bigger deal because, plot-wise, he taught us every spell. It's just so easy. I can't really spend a lot of time talking about it. Endgame is about to be super smooth.
Sing it, we will rock you.
Gideon doesn't go great. He's a DPS test and our DPS isn't very good. The rocks don't excel at making bosses die. They excel at keeping you 30 feet away from bosses while you hit them. Speed and stat requirements are what separate the beast spells from the gravity spells. We flounder against Gideon a few times, but when we win, it's not just because he stopped attacking and we got lucky. We had time to hit the boulders and get out of the way as he cast. Not a lot of extra time, but still enough time to make it work. Godfrey is also not free, but he's less expensive than he was with Gravity because we have the time to get the boulders off. Again, not a lot more extra time, but enough that it feels better and it feels like we won the fight because we fought well, not because he fought poorly. Now take all of what I just said and dump it, trash it, it's trash. there's any boss that's here to hammer through the idea into your head that you shouldn't be using spells, it's Radagon. Because when you use a spell, he puts a hammer through your freaking head. The boulder is the only spell slow enough for him to parry, which means we've got to go back down to using the sling most of the time. There are several attacks where we can hit him with a boulder as a punish, but it takes a while to figure out which ones those are. The hammer drag that makes the big cone in front of him, that's boulder time. The big jump slam attack that isn't the hammer slammer, that's boulder time. You really just have to relearn the entire fight if you've done this with weapons before. If this is your first run though, I guess it's just the first time you'd have to learn it, so it wouldn't be any worse than any other option you use. I mean, it would be better if you were using a weapon, but you wouldn't know because you hadn't done it. Anyway, we're slowly getting better until we quit for the day. We'll come back. When we come back, we're gonna go get a little more damage. First, we gotta throw rocks at O'Neill, then help Millicent by helping Gowry to help Millicent to help Gowry to kill Millicent to kill Gowry, and wow, we have the Faith's Canvas Talisman for 8% more damage. With more damage, we'll be doing much better. After a few deaths, we even managed to get to the Elden Beast. Pretty low on flasks, but the Elden Beast is pretty easy. Gets pretty close when it rains, but we win.
No. Wait. Wait.
I actually took a break after this. I had to. A few more deaths and we're back at the Elden Beast. Now we're hanging on with a sliver, but I'm good at avoiding all the attacks and...
This is the worst.
Another death and we're avoiding the Elden Stars. It goes for the breath. Should be able to run behind it as long as the camera doesn't lock on and change the direction we're running.
What have they done to us?
Okay, bunch more deaths and then right before death 69, we make it. Get some good dome shots off, avoid the Elden Stars and the nebula and the lasers, and we win. Finally. This might seem like it went bad, but it actually went better than Gravity did, since we were actually fighting Radagon in the fights, rather than just running in, praying to RNGesus, and dying super fast. Out of one hell into another hell, it's Rykard time. You can boulder in the magma, but we won't have enough blue flasks to do that. Trying it outside the lava works, but it also kind of doesn't. The key is we have to be much further away. I didn't realize how far away we could be. Partially because even when I was several football fields away, I still got gobbled. Happy Thanksgiving, I guess. Let's try it with the regen tier. You just gotta dome an Erd Tree avatar in the Weeping Peninsula, and now we can put regen in the Physic Flask. It's 7 HP per second for 3 minutes. It's not that much better than Bestial Sling, but it is better. And they stack, and I probably should have used them together, but I didn't want to. And also, it didn't really work, and I forgot. We really have to be far away, so far away that sometimes we get stuck on a wall. Eventually, I got it. I was just a little bit dead inside. Carrion Study Hall is quick enough. Quit out to stop the sniper. Then we go on a detour mission to Altus for some more golden seeds and rune arcs before hugging Fia. Fortisax can just get domed, and the key to solid doming on a bad dragon is to aim for the base, and the head will still get hit pretty regularly. The head is extra sensitive, so if you focus on it too much, you're gonna spray your load of rocks everywhere else. Godfrey will give us a talisman we need for the last hard boss, and it turns out Godric is way better with a big rock. You don't really need help with Godric, because it's Godric, but if you did, there you go. We can't hit the archers in the liturgical town, but they're not the problem today. It's the invisible Black Knife assassin. I don't know why she's not leaving me alone. You're obsessed with me, that's so sad. Haligtree time, hit the snail, swag the jump, and hit the horse with a bunch of rocks. Sorry, that sounds mean. We're gonna hit the woman riding the horse. Much better. Does this build have a solution for the Rotterfall? Of course it does. Cincadia.
Here I go again, my, how can I resist you?
This far into the run, we're fighting Malenia, and I know what to do if you're fighting a boss that dodges too much. The Claw. It's really safe until she decides it's ducky time. Hey Malenia, it's Thanksgiving. Turkey is the appropriate bird, except not really. Turkey's a terrible bird. There's a reason we only eat it once per year, and it takes so much prep time to actually make it taste good. But at an HP threshold, Mel will start dancing like some sort of dancing queen. I have ABBA on the brain, apparently, huh? For some reason, we get hit with the third jump. That seemed really weird until I realized we're in light load. It makes you roll further when you roll, and Malenia's third ducky hop specifically goes behind you to catch you running away from it. The right move is to dodge it earlier if you're in light load, so she jumps further than you, otherwise you'll use your extra movement to hop right into a blender, and you don't want to be in a blender. She gives us plenty of practice, that's nice of her. When you keep your distance, she just does not stop using this move. Oh my god. Beast Claw is getting a nice boost from the Godfrey icon that we got from Godfrey, as long as you have time to charge it. That also means it'll go further and spread out more, so she'll dodge right into it. Phase 2, same move, run away and throw the claw. If you don't run away, you'll be in close when she does Attack of the Clones, which is a nightmare when you're not far away from her. But also, you can throw boulders at her while she's in the onion. So lower her HP down as much as possible, then run away and use the claw until she does the onion again, then repeat. We died a few times, but it wasn't all that bad. At 9 hours and 22 minutes, we killed 44 bosses and died 83 times. Honestly, still not great. But I get to decide where these rank, and I'm putting Claw, Stone, and Sling all in the cast category, meaning this is technically the best type of spell we've run so far. Are any of these spells as good as Night Comet on their own? Oh no. God, no. Not even combined. No, they're not even close to that good. But they have uses. If you're making a strength-focused build and just want a ranged option, these spells are really helpful. I've seen a lot of suggestions that gravity spells are good for that, but that's not true. There's no strength way to use the gravity spells, and all of them are more expensive investments. You only need 13 faith for the boulder. You need 17 intelligence for rock sling. And there isn't a staff that scales with strength like the beast seal. The boulder is really helpful against bosses like Estelle or dragons that love to run around and fly away from you. Beast Sling is super fast and can be a fun alternative for your melee weapon or a way to test the waters on a new boss to learn their patterns if you're using a heavier weapon like the Giant Crusher most of the time. And Beast Claw is great at catching those rolly NPCs that are such a pain. Bestial Vitality is trash, there's no reason to use it, just use red flasks if you need healing. Gronk's Beast Claw is a worst version of the Beast Claw that's only useful if you're surrounded by enemies, and you shouldn't be. Bestial Constitution.
Look, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I forgot you're here.
It clears blood loss buildup and frost buildup. Not a lot of bosses have those. The ones that do are not the ones you want to spend time clearing status effects against. You want to reset your bleed against Moog? Moog will hit you and make you bleed again. You want to reset your frostbite against Nile? He is already inside you and not in the fun way. If you have to choose between learning where to find a window to reset your status or learning when to roll, just focus on rolling better. Yeah, I liked these spells. This was a fun run until the end. Then it was a little less fun. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Remember, when you click the link in the description, you get the large bonus pack, and it lets the folks at War Thunder know that we sent you. It helps you out with more fun and helps our channel as well. So get started playing today. If you want to watch these runs live, follow us on Twitch. We're finding new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. Join the Patreon to support the channel and get some exclusive videos. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.